Hey friends, welcome back. If this is your first time here, my name is Jamie, and here you'll find me sharing tips about simple living, organization, and productivity. Today I want to talk about one of those things, and that is organizing. I have loved organizing for years. There's something that I find so freeing about being able to go right to something when you need it and not have to look around and waste time just trying to find that one thing that you know you have somewhere. Sometimes I get comments from friends or people that know me about how organized I am or how organized my house is. And afterwards, I kind of laugh to myself thinking, if they only knew what a literal mess my entire house, my entire life would be if I didn't take time to get myself organized and organize my home. And if they only knew how I would probably be late to everything and anything I ever had to go to because I'd be too busy looking for things that I couldn't find. Truth be told, organizing is my secret weapon, and I do not know how I would even function without having organized systems in place. Organizing isn't just something that happens to you, rather it's something that you have to set out to intentionally do and to intentionally become an organized person. Sure, that comes more naturally for some people than it does for others, but for most of us, we have to work to be organized. It doesn't happen all at once, and it is done incrementally in steps, a little bit here, a little bit there, over time. When you take the time to become a more organized person, it helps almost every aspect of your life run a lot more smoothly. In my last video, I talked about the importance of good habits and putting habits in place. For me, organized systems are like habits for my home. They help things run more smoothly, and therefore my whole life runs a lot more smoothly. Before we begin, I invite you to have a mindset shift about organizing. First of all, organizing does not have to involve pretty or expensive containers. Sure, it can if you want it to, but that is not a prerequisite for having an organized home. Second of all, organizing is not about restricting yourself or boxing yourself in. In fact, it's actually quite the opposite. It is extremely freeing, it saves you time, it saves you energy, and in fact, it can actually save you money. No more running to the store to get something that you know you have somewhere, but you just can't find it. And lastly, you can find a lot of great ideas for organizing online. But I see a lot of beautifully organized spaces on Instagram or Pinterest or here on YouTube that are not practical for most people. Just because it looks good on the internet does not mean it would work well in your home. I want to take you into my pantry today. We've had a variety of pantries over the years. We've gone from having no pantry to having a tiny pantry to having medium-sized pantry, and the pantry that we have now is actually quite large. Truth be told, it's bigger than what I need, but I love it. And it has taken me a while to get it just the way that I want so that it functions well for my family. I'm the kind of person who likes things to be organized, even when I'm the only one that's going to see them, even behind closed doors. Now, I know that not everyone is like that, and there are a variety of different organizing styles and preferences out there, but there are some universal principles when it comes to organizing. Regardless of the space that you have or don't have, these principles are important to remember. Principle number 1, declutter first. In the future, I'm going to do a video more about this because it is something I'm incredibly passionate about. But for now, just know that your space will feel so much better with less stuff in it, guaranteed. For a long time, I organized the same way that you would do a puzzle. Everything had an exact spot and everything fit together just right. But since I have started decluttering, organizing has become so much easier and impactful. It's no longer a tight fit to get things in, and the space looks better overall. When I first began decluttering my home, my pantry is one of the first places that I started. It's a great spot to start because you can objectively see what hasn't been used and what isn't going to get used. Principle number 2, like things go together, always. This is something that I constantly say to myself whenever I'm organizing any space. Principle number 3, create zones. This is very similar to like things go together, but being able to create zones really allows you to maximize the functionality of your space. It allows you to better see how like things can go together and how they should go together. I also use this strategy in almost every single area that I organize. My kids' playrooms, my bathroom, etc. Principle number 4, allow room for change or slight expansion. My kids don't always love to eat the same snacks. Sure, we do have some staples that they always seem to reach for, but for the most part, they like variety. They like me to switch it up, have different things in there from time to time. Some snacks take up more space than others, and so I want to make sure that when I change out a snack, that it doesn't feel like I'm playing Tetris to get the new snack to fit in. Principle number 5, label. Labeling is one of the fastest ways for your brain to learn where things should go when you put them back. It keeps your organizing systems in place, and it is a great way for other people in your house to learn where things go to. Even if you live alone, labeling is still very important. Principle number 6, make the space work for you. In my habits video, I talked about using visual cues to help form good habits. For me, one of my habits that I try to maintain is to eat healthy. If I walk into my pantry and I see the treats, first and foremost, I'm gonna wanna eat the treats. While I try not to keep too many treats on hand, I keep the treats that we do have tucked away where they're not going to be visible first thing. Again, using a visual cue to not go straight for the treats when I'm trying to maintain the habit of eating healthy. Like I mentioned earlier, no matter how pretty a space looks, if it does not work for you, it's basically useless. Principle number 7, embrace open spaces. Just because you have the space does not mean you have to fill it. Let me say that again. Just because you have the space does not mean you have to fill it. This is one of the biggest lessons that I have learned while trying to have a more simplified home. Just because you have an empty section in your pantry or an empty shelf or whatever it may be does not mean that you need to think of something to fill it or that you need to find something to put there. Embrace those open spaces. As I have thought about having an organized pantry, I have realized I am inside my pantry at my busiest and at my hungriest. My busiest is in the morning. I'm trying to get my kids out the door to school, and I'm usually getting something out of the pantry, usually preparing my son's lunch, or I'm running into the pantry to grab something. Then I'm in the pantry again at lunch, trying to get my toddler and my kindergartner fed. Then again at dinner time. Around here, dinner time is kind of a crazy time. I'm trying to get dinner on the table. Everyone is needing something. It's a busy time. And that's when I'm in the pantry. So I need the space to work for me. I need to be able to easily access things that I need to make dinner, lunches, breakfast, whatever it is. I'm also in the pantry at my hungriest. So like I said, I want to maintain those good habits. I don't want to go in looking for something to eat and the first thing I see is the treats. Your pantry and your home need to work well for you. They need to work well for your needs, for what you have going on. You deserve to be able to easily walk in and find what you're looking for without having to move things out of the way or having to paw through some things because you can't find what you're looking for. It will make your life so much easier when you are able to quickly walk in, find what you need, and get on with your life. I hope this was helpful. I hope you got some ideas for how to make your pantry or your space work better for you. Please like and subscribe, and I will see you in my next video. Thanks for watching, friends. Have a great day.